Welcome to another edition of the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by FANATICS Sportsbook. My name is Jonathan Macri, and games like that are why I just can't quit drinking. Also, funny story. I'm here with Benjy Ritholtz. Benjy, I'm going to need you to talk for a few seconds while I figure out why I can't hear anything. So I'm going to give the floor to you. Talk about what we just witnessed, if you don't mind.
This is the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by FANATICS Sportsbook. He can't hear me, so he doesn't know that he missed that. Anyway, yeah, well, that was an interesting game. I hope you all enjoyed that as John's figuring out his audio. Look, you have an outlier free throw shooting game like that, which I don't think I've ever seen the Knicks do anything quite like that. And I do think that is the first takeaway. When you miss that many free throws, including clutch free throws, that make it a tighter game than it should have been. And they missed a lot of open three-point looks as well. I don't think there's a tremendously deep takeaway from this game other than they'll shoot better from the line and they'll shoot better from three, and they would have won this game by 10, 15 points probably on a normal night. This was a wild shooting performance in a negative sense, John. Do you hear me now?
I can hear you, and the reason why I could not hear you before is sometime between when Landry Shamet missed his first free throw and when Jaylen Brunson missed a free throw, 5 missed free throws later. And actually, no, not even then. When the offensive foul was called, I must have smacked my my headphone wire out of my microphone, which is why I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. That was special. It was a special experience to have with you, John, watching on the playback.
Yeah, look, I say it all the time. I am truly getting too old for this shit because, my lord, that was trying. It was, I think, made more trying by the fact that we were watching on playback. And shout out to everybody who watched along with us on playback. Shout out to everybody who watched along with us on the Knicks Film School YouTube. The whole night, as the night kept going along, you saw in the chat, or I saw in the chat, I don't know how much you were paying attention to the chat. I was paying attention to the chat a little bit. People getting more and more and more disenchanted with this game. And eventually it was just like, fuck this, to hell with this. This is nonsense. This is garbage. And I'm sitting there, and I'm me and you, we're fighting the good fight. And Sean, we're trying to be positive. And like, look, just get the win, get the win, get the win. And I think all of that washed over me to a degree where I was just kind of beaten down by the end of this one. And now we're going to sit here. And I completely agree with you, by the way. What takeaways do you take from this game? Like, give me one big picture takeaway from this game. Let's anything.
Yeah, I would. Though, if there was one criticism, I would say they were slow offensively. I think that overall in the game, it was a little bit of last year's offense. Now, at times that works because Jaylen Brunson's really good and Karl-Anthony Towns is really good. And they can go through spurts where they carry an offense by themselves. Yes. But I didn't see the speed, the pace, the consistent driving, the multiple bites at the apple that they've been trying to generate. And I thought that was lacking at times in the game. So I guarantee Mike Brown will say something about that in his postgame. We'll see if he does. So that would be a bigger picture takeaway. And then the second one would be the defense, which over large stretches of games just isn't getting stops right now.
So I would have gone with the defense as my, if I had a bigger picture takeaway, because it was, and look, they got to win. This is going to be a positive postgame because I know, and again, just to like look behind the scenes, there are games where they are not great games, or last year there were games where they were not great games and they got to win. And I would try to reflect the opinions of like the vocal minority. And afterwards, people are like, come on, man, they won the fucking game. Be happy. I'm going to be happy about this one because you know why I'm going to be happy? Because you know what the alternative is? We're sitting here talking about a goddamn loss. And that would not have been good. But I do want to at least start out by acknowledging that this was, I mean, how many times have you felt as a Knicks fan playing defense where it's like, oh my God, how are they going to get a stop? Mm-hmm. And they did not have Ojananobi, and his absence is hovering over this whole thing like a giant cloud. You cannot talk about what this defense is incapable of doing right now without mentioning the fact that they are missing a guy who is playing at, again, unequivocally an all-defense level. That said, there are 30 teams in the NBA. How many of them are worse ranked than the Dallas Mavericks in offensive rating?
0.
That would be 0. So to have, and by the way, I know he's 18 years old, but they were missing arguably their best offensive player tonight, best healthy offensive player tonight.
Correct. And it comes down to the inability to keep guys out of the paint. It is just easy for, especially, well, I would say in this case, it was both quick guards and big wings. In the first half, it was a big wing who just powered his way to the rim over and over again, and Najee Marshall. In the second half, it was more their point guards, whether it was D'Lo or Williams, splitting, targeting Brunson, easily getting into the paint, and then we're over-helping for Brunson, and then they're spraying for threes. It just didn't feel, you never felt like they found any defensive traction until the last 2 or 3 minutes when I thought they actually did find it, which is really why they won the game, starting with a Landry Shamet pressure defense possession where he single-handedly forced a turnover when he checked back into the game.
Can we talk? I'm watching our replay of us cackling like idiots because I want to send this out on social media. That was
with the offensive foul. We haven't talked about that yet.
We haven't talked about the offensive foul. Yeah. So Landry Shamet. Can we start any place else?
You can start it because, as I often say about Landry Shamet, it's Landry Shamet. What else can you say?
I am going to choose. Not to hold those 2 missed free throws against him. And you know why I'm going to choose to do that? Because there have been a lot better players than him to come to the line in big spots and have just a moment that, like, LeBron James has missed 2 free throws in that situation. Jaylen Brunson, memorably, in a game against the Chicago Bulls 3.5 years ago. It was right before that Dallas game, the Luka 60 special. Brunson missed 2 free throws, as did Quentin Grimes in that game. Another pretty good free throw shooter. This shit happens, this shit happens. And it is what it is. That dude came in and won them the game.
He did. He was the guy who wanted the shots. He made 2. And defensively was I really thought the catalyst, the game changer, just from like a pressure perspective. Landry can get overpowered at times too. We've seen that in Miami. He really struggled to contain the ball. But he tries really hard. Always. Every second he's on the floor. On both ends, he tries hard. He's a try-hard guy on both ends. He's always moving. He's always running. And then, those possessions, like when you can just randomly cause a turnover like that because of your just intensity, it can really swing a game. And look, we when he checked back in for Deuce, I think we both said, I think that's the right move. I think
can we backtrack before that though? Because both of us, when they were making the set of substitutions, but the previous set of substitutions before that, we were talking about it. Like, all right, well, you probably want Josh Hart in there at this point. Like, it's time to bring him back in. But you were saying maybe not Josh with Mitch because of the spacing. Mm-hmm. And I think I landed on the lineup that he went with, which was with Deuce. And I was like, Shamet, I didn't think he was having a great game, and sent him off. And then Deuce, who had listen, did Deuce have a great game? No. Deuce hit hit 2. Yeah, I was going to say not 1, not 2. No, 2 massive threes in the fourth quarter that they needed in the moment.
And the second one was almost a heave at the end of the shot clock.
It was a blown
way back there.
Yes.
And he made it. Yeah. So
I don't want to make it out to be like Deuce killed him.
No, not at all. Yeah, but it ended up being, it was just like they needed a little bit of a spark.
Yep.
And Shamet came in, and boy, did he give them a spark. And just like he's having a moment, John, like Landry Shamet is somehow in this early season is having a moment where he's become a critical piece of this team. And even though he was the last guy basically to make the roster, he's just become invaluable as a mover, as a connector, and as a defender. It's pretty remarkable stuff.
You can't get through your statement without chuckling to yourself, but because we're it's no disrespect to this man.
No,
he has been on 6 NBA teams. He has been waived. A year ago, any team, literally any team could have signed him to a minimum contract because he was not on the roster because he was recovering from an injury, and the Knicks cut him. And now he's here.
And this offseason, he was sitting there for the taking too. Despite having a decent year, anyone could have had him again.
And he signed he's still on a not guarantee. I don't think his contract is fully guaranteed yet. I'm pretty sure he's still on a not guaranteed, like exhibit really whatever contract. They're not cutting him. I got spoiler alert. He's going to be around for a while because it's crazy to say, where would this team be without Landry Shamet right now? Where would this team be without Landry Shamet right now? It's insane. It's insane, yeah. But here we are.
I do think, I'll say one more thing about him. Like, please. He's a really good fit with Mike Brown.
Why? Speak on that.
Yeah, because Mike Brown, we know he's emphasized kind of this increased movement and cutting off of the ball, and that is where Landry Shamet thrives. Like, that maybe is his best skill, is his intuitive, aggressive, always full speed movement off the ball. And he has thrived in this system because of it. So I think as much as he had a decent year under Tibbs last year, just being kind of like a plug and play guy, I think what Brown has brought has really accentuated his skills. And I think it's allowed him to kind of break out in this way. So it's become a good fit, and he's become a fixture in the rotation.
Coming into tonight, Landry Shamet had 3 3-point attempts in 23 minutes. He came into tonight averaging 7.9 3-point attempts per 36 minutes. I'll be very clear about that. Per 36 minutes. And he came into tonight as the team's leading 3-point shooter. He is the only, Mikal's leading, and then Shamet is next, but Mikal 6 per 36. Again, Shamet almost 8 per 36. So there's a bit of a difference there. Let's talk about some other things, because there was actually lots to talk about tonight, and we could really just kind of go down the roster, and I think every hit on each guy and get into a little. We talked about Deuce a little bit, 4-12 overall, but again, the 3 threes he made, you felt their impact. Let's talk about Jaylen Brunson. Captain's back. They needed him. Third quarter was prime peak Brunson, whatever you want to call it. You could tell in the first half he was not all the way back, but what did you see from the captain tonight?
Yeah, definitely rust early from a decision-making standpoint. Had a really rough stretch in the first quarter of a couple turnovers and missed shots, but found his game in the third. And it's crazy what just his gravity can do, because he made a couple of ISO buckets in the third, and then all of a sudden they're throwing doubles at him at half court. And now Josh is screening for him. They're hitting Josh in the pocket. He's finding shooters. So that's just it's like what a guy like that does for you is he's an automatic advantage creator. Like just from his sheer brilliance on the offensive end, when a possession might be difficult for a team to generate anything, well, Jaylen Brunson's getting doubled basically at half court. That tells you all you need to know about what he means to this team.
And the thing I want to say about him and the team in general, and now this is going to get people mad at me, because this is going to seem like I'm putting lipstick on a pig and I'm being an apologist. But it got to the point in the game, as you said, where we were getting half-court doubles. And I thought, by and large, the Knicks did well in those situations and got a bunch of open threes. And you know what they did when they got those open threes? They missed every god-blessed one of them. They shot 29% from 3 in this game, 12 of 42 overall from deep. And here's where, again, I'm going to make people mad. The team still scored 113 points, which I know in the NBA today is not a lot. But if you could put up 113 on a night where you cannot hit the far side of a barn from 3 and you miss, that can't be right.
Oh, it's right. No, it's right. Say it. It is correct. It's a real number.
This is why they make this stuff. 16 free throws.
So you even say on a bad free throw shooting night for the Knicks, on a normal bad free throw shooting night, they score 123.
Yes, because they're 29 to 35. Well, 29 to 35 is like that's an average free throw shooting.
Yeah, they're scoring 120 tonight easy.
And if they're
making a bad amount of free throws, like this was next level. And you know what? To get it out of the way on a win, because it happens. There's no like.
You can't draw conclusions.
No, you don't. Free throws. It is literally just percentages, and it'll come back. Like they'll make a bunch now. They're a really good free throw shooting team. They have been for years. It's just Mitch that's the bad free throw shooter. you don't take anything away from the fact that they missed a bunch of free throws. Maybe Shamet, you could say, like, was feeling the pressure there, but no one else was feeling the pressure. Sometimes it happens where you collectively have a bad free throw shooting night. And to win that game, instead of doing it in a game against a better opponent, frankly, maybe that's actually a nice thing, you know?
And because I know we're going to get a super chat or multiple super chats about it, the Knicks are the 5th best free throw shooting team in the league by percentage. They are a good, maybe not an elite free throw shooting team, but they're, I mean, if you're top 5 in a league of 30 teams, you're pretty close to elite.
Yeah, and if you take Mitch out of there, I mean, then they're elite. I mean, you got 90% shooters missing 3 or 4 tonight. I mean, Clarkson missed; he's a 90%. Cat missed 3 or 4; he's a 90%. And these are great, historically great free throw shooters.
Yes,
it just happens. You spit on it and you move on.
That's I 100% completely agree. Okay, where should we go from here? Let's talk about Cat. Might as well talk about Cat. The numbers aren't good. 6 of 16, 1 of 6 from 3. We talked about it all night. And again, this is one of those things that we're going to be on this hill for as long as he's on this team. Those are all good shots. Even the last one that he missed, there will be people who'll be like, "You're a big man, go down." No, he hasn't been that open. He hasn't been that open in 12 years. Are you kidding me? Like, they literally forgot about him. They forgot he was on the court.
It was shocking that he missed that shot. Like, he's got. It's you can't, you know, everyone's been pining for him to take more threes since really his whole career. Yeah. And it feels like now he's gotten to a place where he's letting them go. And unfortunately, the shame of it is he's not getting rewarded for it because he's missing all of them. Yeah. But it's coming, man. Like
it's gonna come.
Again, back of the basketball card is what it is. He's gonna make shots.
I want to commend him for his overall performance because I thought absent a couple of. Again, you're going to happen every game. A couple of typical Cat head scratchers, like why? It's Klay Thompson, Cat. What? He's been in the league for a while. He could do one thing really well. Other than those things, I thought he defended okay. He got to the line 9 times, pulled down 14 rebounds, 6 assists, only 3 turnovers. You know, the foul, you know, it was 1 or 2 bad fouls, but like from a process standpoint, I was actually encouraged by the game from Cat tonight. His execution was not always there, but you know, again,
and like Brunson in the third quarter, there was a stretch there where his drives were just kind of keeping the Knicks in it.
Absolutely,
a bunch of buckets in a row.
Yes,
and you take those for granted because they're not pulling ahead in those moments. But you know what? You stay within 2 or 3 because the Cat's just going on a scoring run. It just keeps you in the game, and then you can find it late.
We do not need to talk about Jordan Clarkson. Jordan, the Hive is still here. We're just
the Hive is stronger than ever.
The Hive is.
We got it.
How strong was it on the pull-up 3, Ben? You were flexing on the pull-up 3.
I liked them. I had no issue with the. I promise you, I had no issue with the pull-up 3. I had an issue with his defense in the second half. Holy God, was that bad?
But that's a real thing because
it's a real thing. Against Miami, it was a struggle too. It's a real thing.
They will run into a team or teams where it frankly may not be. They may just not have the lineups where it's tenable to play Jordan Clarkson. Whatever, pick your number of minutes. But we'll deal with that when we come to it. And we got a trade deadline, by the way, to go through before we get there. Mohamed Diawara, nice, thank you for participating. You want to say anything about Mo?
Nice block.
Nice block. There you go.
Good for him getting a minute. You know, whatever.
Yeah, that was 2 minutes. That was Mike Brown's idea of. But look, say this for Brown. He can say whatever the hell he wants to say. I'm going to lean into my younger players. Just that Bridges and Brunson and Cat led the team in minutes tonight with 35 apiece. They're off the next 2 nights. I had no issues with any of the minutes tonight.
No, you know, I think it's fair to be surprised, and if you want to be disappointed, because the expectation was based on his history and based on his words that he was going to throw guys out there in a way that Tibbs certainly did not.
Yep.
And it turns out, whether it's because he's with those guys a lot and he doesn't see it, we're talking about specifically probably Kolek and maybe Diawara, maybe Pacome, but Pacome seems to be in the shadow realm. And then, so I think it's fair to be disappointed in that. And if you are high on Kolek, which I think there's reasons to be,
you were high on him.
I am high on Kolek. I still think Kolek. I think, but I also said when they brought Jordan Clarkson into the fold, that was a very bad sign for Kolek, just not because he can't play, but because I'm not sure he can play with Clarkson. And that makes it hard. So I understand where Brown's hesitations are. But look, he's the one that in some way caused the expectations. I think it's fair to ask, hey man, like it's early in the season. Now, to your point, none of the guys played huge minutes, so it's not like he's killing these guys in the same way. But yeah,
no, and
I understand the complaint, and I don't necessarily feel it to the extent that others do, but I get it. And sometimes I'm like, hey, give Kolek a few minutes here and there. What's not going to kill you against Dallas? Maybe it would have. I don't know.
Let me just say what I think is obvious, but I'll say it. The issue, the Knicks are not at a development stage of their team building process. They are in the winning a championship stage. The whole thing with playing the bench more last season had nothing to do with getting those guys more minutes. It had to do with limiting the minutes of the starters. Brown is doing that because he is playing Josh Hart 30 minutes off the bench and McBride 22 and Clarkson 20 and Yabusele, who I want to get to next briefly, 17. The problem last year is you would get campaign and you'd look up and he played 4 minutes.
That's right.
And, you know,
the second there was a sign of trouble, Brunson's back in with 10 left in the fourth. Like Brown's not doing that.
Yes. And Shamet would play 6 minutes or, you know, that sort of stuff. You're not getting that anymore.
Yeah. But the difference between tonight and the second Miami game is Yabusele. Because the minutes did get high, right? The minutes did get high against Miami or higher than they've been. Partially because he really only was playing 7 guys, which is very little.
So interesting line for Yabusele. Again, take any game to game plus minus with many grains of salt. Team high plus 15. He attempted 5 threes. He missed all 5 of them. I thought he played pretty well. I did. So yeah.
Yeah, I think he's shown slow and steady progress. It hasn't been what we wanted it to be yet. Like we envisioned him fitting in, slotting in. He's not playing the 5 at all, which is interesting to note. He's really playing the 4, which I think limits his offense. Although he did get 3 looks, he got looks from 3 tonight. He just missed all of them. But I think he's definitely looking more agile defensively than he was day 1 of the season. And I think we all kind of predicted it would take a month or 2 for him to just find his wind, get in shape a little bit. And I think you're starting to see his activity defensively pay dividends. So, you know, nothing great. He's got to make some threes to become an effective player, but good activity from him, better than we've seen. And he was rewarded with more minutes.
Yes, he was. Only 2 guys we haven't talked about are Mitch and Mikal. Mitch, I don't know that we need to spend a lot of time on Mitch Robinson. We commented on it throughout the night. Defensively, it's not quite all the way there right now.
Mm-hmm.
For him, he was limited on the boards, only 8 rebounds, 3 offensive in 22 minutes. I'm not worried about Mitch. Mitch will get there.
Yeah, and by the way, that's a legit center duo. If you can throw Lively and Gafford at him, who are physical and big and good, you know. So that's part of it too. Is there was a real matchup there. But yeah, I don't think he's quite himself defensively. The offensive rebounding, he'll have games that just kind of amaze you. Tonight wasn't one of them. That's okay.
And then I'll save this guy for last because he's going to be the unheralded hero of this game. And part of that is because he had, was it the worst non-missed free throw division? He had the worst moment of the game. Mikal Bridges when he record scratched. And I guess you could call that a pass to Josh Hart. Wasn't really much of a pass, but massive in the first half. They needed his offense in the first half and then hit the biggest non-Shamet 3 of the game to tie it up at 106.
Yeah, huge. A couple of bad misses from the corner, which he's been so automatic from there that you were surprised by it. One hit the side of the backboard. One was almost an air ball long. Yeah. But he's been so good from there. On his drives, he can lack physicality, which forces him outside the paint, and then he picks up his dribble and he's in trouble. You saw that on that last turnover, but also defensively, like his anticipation right now is on a really high level.
Yep.
He's picking off balls like he's a pass ahead and then coming back for blocks on drives when he's on the perimeter. When he sees a guy's going to shoot over, let's say a Brunson or a Deuce in that floater range, he's dropping down and contesting himself. So he's been really good defensively. Much better than last year so far, and I thought tonight was really, really good on that end. He'll frustrate you sometimes on offense because of that lack of physicality, but overall, a very solid performance in a season where he's just had a lot of solid performances.
Can I give you a fun stat? Let me see if I could find it real quick. Yeah. Okay. So the 3 games coming into this one, and I'll give you the stat and then I'm gonna let you go. Mikal Bridges had 11 steals and 6 blocks. As long as we have been recording steals and blocks in the league, there's only one other Knick who put up those at least that many steals and at least that many blocks. Do you want to guess who it is? He's played in the last 15. He's played in the last 15 years on the team.
Man.
And a similar body type to Mikal Bridges, I would even say, a taller.
Jared
Lanky.
Jeffries.
Wow. That was good.
Yeah.
That was freaking impressive.
Anytime we talk Jared Jeffries, I'm in for that.
And by the way, the only other, again, this is according to StatHead, the only other NBA player over the last 5 seasons to have put up that particular combination of steals and blocks, Victor Wembanyama. Well, why do I bring that up tonight?
Tall.
Yeah, not bad when you're in the same class as Wemby. Well, tonight, Mikal Bridges 3 steals, 2 blocks. He is racking up these splash plays on defense, and it matters.
We talked about this a lot last season. He for whatever reason, it's changed. He's gotten older. He's doing more on offense than he did when he first came into the league. He just is no longer a primary pick and roll defender. That is just not his role. And Tibbs tried to make that his role last season for a very long time, and it just never came to fruition. And now, whether it's Deuce in the starting lineup or Landry Shamet taking those assignments or OG taking those, he's just off the ball more. And we're seeing what he can do when he's in that position. That's where he belongs. And it's made a huge difference just in terms of his deployment on that end. And look, he's also just, I think, more locked in this season.
Yeah. He's in a better place overall. Look, again, this is not one that's going to go, well, it'll go in the memory banks, but maybe not for the reasons we want. We know this team needs OG Anunoby. We know that this team probably, I don't want to say probably, it's gonna be an interesting trade deadline, Benji, and it'll be interesting to see what rumors emerge between now and February about if they're looking at backup point guards, if they are looking at maybe big men to shore up the depth there. You could tell me either, and I would not be shocked. But it feels like a team that is a little bit lacking on the outskirts right now, and it is impacting them. But look, you try to rack up wins in the meantime.
Can we get Najee Marshall by any chance?
Is he available? I'd like to get that Najee Marshall. That'd be great.
Just that prototype, and it's why I wanted Dorian Finney-Smith last year.
Me and you were together on that one,
and he went for peanuts. And like it was like, man, they're just missing that another big wing body.
Yep.
And Marshall certainly fits that profile, but we'll have time to talk about all this.
Yeah.
The one guy I didn't mention is Josh Hart, which I'm shocked by, John.
Oh shit, I glossed right over Josh Hart. I think I was maybe in my mind saving him for last. It was a classic Josh Hart game. In both ways, good and bad. 16, 10, and 5.
That's quite a nice line.
And on a night where nobody could buy anything from behind the arc, of course, Josh Hart, 3 or 4 from deep.
Corners, Josh. Be in the corners. Spend less time above the break because you're clogging things up there. Get in the corners, get in the dunker spot. There were a couple that Jaylen Brunson isolation run that he was on was because Josh was screening and dropping.
Yep.
And that allowed Brunson. And then eventually we saw, and I called this out on the playback that Dallas was going to do this. When Josh would drop into the paint, they just keep the defender there and double Brunson. Well, now Josh is a playmaker, which he's good at.
Yeah.
So he's got to stay away from that splitting the top. I'm telling you, if he can do that and just play in spots that are more conducive to his skill set, I think he's going to be huge for this team. And he showed it tonight. He was huge in certain spots. By the way,
including in transition with the pass to
transition,
Brunson.
massive. Yeah. And then the offensive rebound on his own miss, kick out to Shamet for the 3. Classic Josh Hart.
He also got another it was another massive rebound that Josh Hart got in the 4th quarter. I forget when exactly, but look, there are people out there who will swear to you that Josh Hart cannot be part of a good or great cohesive offense. I'm happy to die on that hill. Good Josh Hart. Locked in Josh Hart. Josh Hart doing the things he's supposed to do and avoiding the things he's not supposed to do can be a part of a great offense. We just got to see more of that. Okay, Benji, I'm gonna let you go. It's 1:00 in the freaking morning.
Hey.
Thank you for sticking this one out today, baby. Appreciate you.
My pleasure. A pleasure to be with you. Pleasure to watch that game with you. As watching you, literally, I was watching your hair gray and your hair fall out. It was really a tremendous experience. Pleasure as always. Have fun tonight. Hope you're get some rest. We'll talk soon.
Oh yeah. I'll sleep when I'm dead. That's what they say. All righty. Okay, there we go. No, it's just me. Now you're stuck with me. Now you just can't leave. All right. This was great. I'm happy I get to do this tonight. That was I say a lot of shit, but that was a fun. It was a fun to get that win and to be done with it is fun. I don't know if the experience itself was fun, but to get the win was fun. Okay. Let us check in on tonight's betting and sweating picks, courtesy, of course, of our friends at FANATICS Sportsbook. I'm worried preemptively for these. I had nothing to do with these picks. I just want to say right off the bat, today was my day off, so I didn't do the video picks and I didn't do these picks. But let's see what we got. All right, from Jeff. Jeff, smart bet, Jeff. 3 or more Karl Towns threes. Very smart bet. You know why? Karl Towns got 6 great looks from 3 tonight. He made 1. It's not your fault. It's not even really his fault. Just that's the way the cookie crumbles. Andrew, Knicks spread 5.5. Oh my Lord, it was enticing. 5.5. The Mavericks are the worst freaking offense in the league. They don't have Cooper Flag. My Lord, take it to the bank. Book the Sizzle reservation. Sorry, not tonight. Knicks did too much silly shit. And then Sean with a W with the saving grace. Mikal Bridges, my favorite bet of the year. I was all over this in opening night. I've been all over it ever since, and we should still be all over it as long as we're going to keep this line what it is, which is 4.5. Mikal Bridges over 4.5 assists. Sean rescues us with that one. Didn't hit the plus 520 parlay, but overall, on a night like this, to get 1 out of 3, not the worst thing in the world, especially since we've been doing pretty damn good on these. So be sure to tell your friends at Knicks Film School or fade your friends at Knicks Film School, whatever you want to do. But make sure you do it at FANATICS Sportsbook. And that is all we got for that. Okay. Kev, what are we looking at? Oh, one other very quick announcement. No, that's not it. We got some new merch. So if you're interested in the new merch that we just dropped, you can go over to nickfilmschool.com and check it out. It is a nod to the team's recently given out Defensive Player of the Game awards. I wonder who's going to get the Defensive Player of the Game for this one. I would guess it's going to be Landry Shamet with the big plays at the end there. Although you could just as easily give it to Mikal Bridges, but you could have just as easily given Defensive Player of the Game to Mikal Bridges for like half of the games this year. And I think he's won once. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, go check that out. New merch over at nickfilmschool.com. Okay, let's get to Super Chats. Here we go. Starting off, I'm sure some of these are going to be... It was Shamet, Kev? Okay, there we go. My guess was good. I'm sure we're going to get some interesting Super Chats from before the end of this game. Kev, if you want to give me some idea of how many of these are from before the final buzzer. Riyad Rahim, guarantee that man's contract. Oh, okay, so this is probably after the Shamet 3. Yeah. No, Shamet's not going anywhere. He's part of the circle of trust. He should be part of the circle of trust. He is... Again, it's not, I mean, look, I could spin this negative. And if I was a national media person and I was talking about this game and I was talking about this team, I would probably be like, it's probably not a great sign for the co-favorite of the Eastern Conference to be absolutely dependent on Landry Shamet to win a game against the Dallas Mavericks. That's what I would say. But I'm not a national media person, and I'm not going to say that because, look, the team is in an interesting spot right now where, like, defensively, very much still finding their way, and they're missing their best defender. And then, like, they are bought into this offense because they took 1 million threes tonight, but on a night when they just don't hit threes, it's like they're going to look very mortal. And then you factor in the free throw stuff too.
So I don't have an issue with. And by the way, OG, it's not just a vital piece on defense. It's a vital piece on offense too, because he's their highest volume 3-point shooter, and he's been really good this year. And he you can't stick a little guy on OG Anunoby and feel like fine with it. So they really do miss OG Anunoby in both sides of the court, but still, roster feels probably one player short if we're keeping it a buck. Thanks, Riyadh. Riyadh with another one. Shamet better than Clay. What did Clay do tonight? I mean, he made at least 1 3. Did he make 2 threes? I think he made 2 threes. Made 3 threes. 3 of 9 from 3. 5 of 11 overall. Played 26 minutes. Scored 13 points. Yeah, it's kind of sad to watch this version of Klay Thompson, but what are you gonna do? All right, now after the buzzer, Robert Cross. Thank you for holding off, Robert Cross, because you know what would have happened if you had sent in a super chat before the final buzzer? They would have figured out a way to lose somehow. First time, long time, it's your boy John. I don't feel confident about this team. Simple reason. They can't defend. Hashtag 53 wins. They can't defend right now, Robert. They can't defend right now. And then it is basically going to be a question of, do you believe that this team has passable defense in them? Again, without OG Anunoby, the answer is no. With OG Anunoby, I think it at least becomes a more interesting conversation. Especially since, again, I mean, I could pull it up right now. Here, you know what? I'm feeling generous. I'm a generous guy. I'm a giver, Robert. So I'm going to give you a little hope right now. With OG Anunoby on the court this season, and I understand he's injury prone and like whatever, but look, they've made their bed with this guy. They're gonna go with it. With OG Anunoby on the court this season, the Knicks are giving up 106.4 points per 100 possessions, which league-wide, this is according to NBA.com's stats page, league-wide, that would rank second. That would be right smack dab in the middle of the first-ranked Thunder and the second-ranked Pistons. So the numbers, if you believe them, would suggest that with OG Anunoby on the court, the team is of exceptional defense. We also know OG Anunoby is capable of playing 35, 36, 37 minutes in a game when it matters. We also know a couple other things. Mitchell Robinson, the version of Mitchell Robinson that we're seeing right now defensively, I don't think this is peak Mitch. I think this is probably like 78, 82% of Mitch, whatever. He's not where he needs to be. And then there's the last one, which is I do think that they are still adjusting to a more aggressive scheme, where, again, helping off more, overplaying the passing lanes, all that kind of stuff. And yet I say all of that. They are an average defense right now, you know, and I know it doesn't feel like they're an average defense. They are an average defense. They are ranked 16th in the league. So is 16th good enough to win a championship? Well, 15th was good enough to win a championship with the Nuggets, whatever it was, 3-4 years ago. Do I think that's going to be good enough for them? No, I don't. I think they need to get up there somewhere around the bottom part of the top 10, maybe 9, 10, 11. I think they could get there. Much to my detriment, perhaps. I think they could get there. So, ye have little faith here, Robert. Come on. Alex, good to hear from you, Alex. Alex, my man, he's in just every chat. He's in the stack. He's in chatnix.com. Shout out to everybody there. I will be chatting along in chatnix.com on Saturday. I was doing the playback tonight, so I wasn't in there. Great win. Enjoyed every second. I'm sure you did, Alex. I'm sure you did. Thanks, man. Anthony Sixto, what's going on, Anthony? Saw a 1980 box out from Mitch. Yeah. How about Shamet's movement away from the ball on both ends? Anyone on this squad do it better? Bravo. Hashtag breaking the Dallas curse. I mean, he's easily the best off-ball mover on offense. That goes without saying. And then, you know, again, just to go back to a point that Benji made as I'm watching a replay of the end of the game, where Shamet drew the offensive foul. His compete level, you never have to question Landry Shamet's compete level, you know, and
look, you get deep enough into the playoffs, you play certain opponents, and talking about compete level on defense starts to border into like participation trophy level stuff. For this team right now, I'm not saying that there are guys out there not competing. I actually think the compete level for the team on the whole all season long on defense has been good. But that has value, and it's like he's like just big enough for it to kind of have value, although you do see his size being a detriment at times as well. I'll say it again. I don't know where the team would be without him. It's a crazy thing to say. Thanks, Anthony. Kevin Danishevsky. I know. I feel you. Whew. I am happy they won on a night when they just could not shoot. The Landry Shamet thing is a really nice story. He has earned his role and Brown's trust. 1,000%. It says something that with this fan base, who is as loud and as present and as divided on social media as we are, it says something that, like, I don't think you'll find anyone right now who would argue or quibble with you that Landry Shamet has earned every minute that he is getting and every ounce of his role on this offense, despite the fact that it may at times be marginalizing a guy like Deuce McBride, and despite the fact that it is 1,000% relegating Tyler Kolek and Pacome Dadia, both of them, into a non-role. And I don't know, maybe some of that has to do with like just people willing to give Brown the benefit of the doubt right now. But like, no, there's no question. There's no question he's earned what he's getting. And again, they need him. It's crazy. But the guy's, he's also a better NBA player than we've kind of maybe not a better NBA player than we've painted him to be, but he's had a more accomplished career. It's probably not the right word than you would think, given how he was spoken about like up until the last few weeks. I mean, the guy's played real minutes on like real teams, but whatever. Okay. Thanks, Kev. Bill Peter, friend. I know Bill wasn't happy tonight. Thoughts on whether the Pistons are going to run and hide with the 1 seed? Oh, we're already talking about that. Well, what are they up? They're probably up by 3 games over us. I mean, run and hide over who? Over the Raptors? Second best team in the East right now. Second best record in the East, at least. Yeah, they're 3 up on the Raptors, and they're 3.5 up on the Knicks, 3.5 up on Cleveland. I know Cleveland made a comeback tonight. I wouldn't feel great about that game if I were a Cavs fan. Hawks hanging around. Heat, I'll say it right now. I think the Heat are going to get a top 4 seed. At least a top 5 seed. I don't know about top 4 seed. I think they're definitely going to get a top 5 seed. I don't know, man. They're playing with all kinds of confidence. They defend like crazy. They got a fully capable, like, best guy in Cade. Duran's an all-star. Run and hide? I don't know about run and hide. More importantly, I don't care. I don't really give a shit what happens over the next, how many games we got left in the season? 50, 60, whatever. However many games are left in the regular season, I don't really. That is not going to alter my opinion one bit on whether or not the Knicks, the Pistons in a playoff series. Will they? I don't know. Maybe they won't. I don't know. But I know they're capable of it. And there's nothing that I'm going to see this season from either the Pistons or the Knicks, barring a Lauri Markkanen trade, that is going to change my opinion that the Knicks should beat the Pistons in a playoff series. All right. On that note, let's do does it again. Let's do stat of the night, courtesy of my guy, Jonah Kaufman. Shout out to all my new KFS interns who are slowly making their way out into the world, doing different stuff. Shout out to Izzy. She was on NBA Takedown earlier today.
So our stat of the game is not a great one. 16, excuse me, I can't read. 16 missed free throws. So why is this significant? Well, one, it almost lost them the game. This was more missed free throws than in any game under Tom Thibodeau and tied for the highest number of missed free throws among any team this season. The 7 missed free throws in the fourth quarter are tied for the second most misses in a quarter by any team this season, behind only the Mavs' fourth quarter performance 2 days ago. That's a great stat. Shout out to Jonah Coffey. That's a fantastic stat. And also one that makes me want to refill my bourbon. But yeah, no, 16 missed free throws. Not good. Again, I think Benji nailed it, though. You're happy. If you could get this game out of the way with a win, you know, like, I mean, I'm going to look just very, very quickly. Thank you, Kev. We can move on. But just like last season, I'm curious real quick. Because it feels like, I don't know. It always feels like missed free throws come back to bite them in the ass, but then maybe sometimes they don't. If you look at last season, their worst shooting games from the line. Okay, here you go. The Knicks last season lost 4 of their 5 worst games in terms of shooting percentage. The Knicks shot under 63% from the line 5 times last season. They lost 4 of those games. The only game they won was a game where they only shot 10 free throws. They were 6 of 10 from the line, and they beat Detroit by 30. That was an early season game where they could have anything they wanted against the Pistons. That was a very different – talk about a very different Pistons team than the one we're seeing right now. You know, and then I'm looking in the playoffs was not as, you know, man, they had some rough free throw shooting performances in the playoffs and they managed to survive it. But yeah, in the regular season, certainly this is usually a bad sign and they won the game. So that's good. All right, next up. Bill Peterfriend with another one. What the fuck was that game? No words. Take the win and move on. Phew, ugly. Breathe. Too old for this shit. Bill, I endorse every word of that. What the F was that game? It was the sort of game you're gonna get when you play 82 of these things. You're gonna get a game where you miss 16 free throws. Maybe not 16, but when you miss a lot of free throws. You're gonna get a game where you shoot 20 whatever percent they shot from 30 tonight, 29%. You know, and you're going to get a game where defensively, not for, again, I don't, call me an apologist. I've been called worse. You're not going to get me sitting here and questioning their defensive effort. I think their technique is not where it needs to be right now. Certainly the execution is not where it needs to be right now. You know, but and there were a couple of moments. Mikal didn't, you know, I know we praised Mikal. He didn't get out to, I forget who it was that shot at 3 I think it was early in the fourth quarter. You know, when you had your silly decisions here and there. But no, I think the effort's there. And that's ultimately why, to go back to Robert's super chat, why I'm just not that apoplectic about the defense. I know it's not where it needs to be. I think they're going to be okay. I really do. Get OG back, and I think they'll be okay. And get Mitch defending as Mitch is capable of defending. Thanks, Bill. Norman Jean, what's going on, Norman? Hope we can figure out how to play defense by the playoffs. Well, that's the goal, right? You know, they've played. What have they played? They played 14 games. So they got 68 games left to go. Number 1, get OG Anunoby healthy. Number 2, get Mitchell Robinson fully to where he can be and needs to be defensively. And then number 3, just get a little bit cleaner in the scheme. Play the scheme. I like this. Again, they're 16th in defense and nobody's happy with it. And nor should you be, but like the splash plays are part of why they are not the 20 whatever ranked defense in the league. The splash plays matter, and the splash plays are happening because they are overplaying passing lanes. Again, I look at to go to two other stats. I look at percentage of shots taken at the rim. I think that's a better indicator of whether you're really taking something away. But do I think you should dismiss completely what James Edwards III put in his article for The Athletic earlier today, which is that they are keeping teams out of the paint at a higher frequency than any team in the league? No, I don't think that should be dismissed completely. They just need to clean up other areas as well. So look, it's not as I'm telling you guys. I feel very strongly about this. Not that that always means anything, but I don't think it's as bad as it seems. I really don't. Thanks, Norman. Just Richards, what's going on, Just? I need to get a Landry Shamet tattoo on my face. Trying to think like what would need to happen for me. I would not get a Landry Shamet. I would not get any tattoo on my face. Like if the Knicks won a championship, I would get a Landry Shamet tattoo somewhere on my body. That's easy. I don't know if you gave me $1,000 and you paid for the tattoo, would I get Landry Shamet's face? If it was somewhere where I was like, you couldn't see it if I was wearing like a t-shirt and shorts, $1,000. I don't know if I'd do it for $1,000. 5,000, I would definitely do it. 1,000, I don't think so. So I don't know where the line is between 1,000 and 5,000, but it's somewhere in there. Thanks, Just. TJ2K, what's going on, TJ2K? Good to see you, man. Time to skedaddle before the mob shows up. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but sure, why not? Thanks, TJ. IMAK Legend, what's going on, IMAK? Who else was laughing at the confusion on the last call when they went, oh, that's what happened on their replay? I can't believe they actually called that. No, I mean, look, it was the right call, though. Seriously, it was the right call. It was the right call. He hooked him. Like you saw it very clear as day on the replay. But to as Benji said, I think right after it happened, that's a ballsy call to make if you're a ref there. To call that an offensive foul, that's a ballsy call. But it's a right call. So, look, what are we going to sit and fault the team for getting the call right? No, the refs did. I thought the refs were good tonight. I thought the refs were good. And not just because the Knicks won. I thought the refs were good. Look, and hey, by the way, you got not screwed by a call, but the call didn't go our way 2 nights ago against Miami. Eric Gentile, what's going on, Eric Gentile? I sense this fucking team coming tonight. I was a little frazzled at the start because I couldn't hear myself, and I was like, of course that would happen for this post game. Otherwise, I would have given you this fucking team. But how about now? We're an hour 55 minutes in. Eric, this fucking team. What can you say about them? They're gonna put me in an early grave. Either that or the bourbon that they caused me to drink. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate you, man. Hudge Zoo, what's going on, Hudge? I need paychecks held tonight. Oh my God. Come on, Hush. They won the game. Absolutely putrid free throws. Was getting flashbacks to that Knicks Mavs Luka game. Thank God JB came back. Let's go Knicks. Yeah, look, everybody has bad days of work. The Knicks had a bad day at work. They live to see another day. Here's the thing. They needed a win. They needed a win on the road. You know, they needed a win on the road, and they got one by hook or by crook or by both. And now they get 2 days off, and my Lord, am I thanking every lucky star in the Milky Way that I do not have to sit here for the next 72 hours or however the fuck long it's going to be until Saturday's game and be thinking about them losing that game because of however they would have lost it. No, I didn't need that in my life. Now I get to have a very pleasant next 3 days, and I look forward to those very pleasant next 3 days. I'm already looking forward to Friday afternoon when I'm just going to kick back because I ain't got shit to do on Friday night. And I think we're going to go buy some Christmas lights, maybe toss them up on the bushes around our house. Maybe I'll make myself a hot toddy or something as I'm doing that, see what the temperature is. But yeah, very excited for that. Thanks, Hush. Sam Garcia, sham wow. Yes. Yes, very, very true. Listen, man, you want to laugh? Who's the biggest story of the Knicks this season? Like, doesn't it have to be Landry Shamet? Let's go through everybody. It's not Gershon Yabusele. It's not Deuce McBride. It's not Josh Hart. It's not anybody who isn't playing. It's not Mitchell Robinson. It's not OG Anunoby because he's hurt. I mean, if it was Cat, it would probably not be for all positive reasons. So it's not Cat. And who does that leave us? Bridges and Brunson. I mean, Brunson's doing what Brunson usually does. You know, he's fine. He's Jaylen Brunson, second team All NBA. He's not the story of the next season. So it's either Shamet or Bridges. Bridges has had an exceptional year, but in a more quiet way. So yeah, Shamet, Landry Shamet, the story. I mean, Mike Brown is the story of the next season, but after that, it's Landry Shamet. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, Kev, let's do one more, and then we'll do Yule because I'm hungry. Danny Gardner, what's going on, Danny? Always good to hear from you. Hope you're well. I'll never understand the inability of teams to apply any nuance to fouling up three. I also I love Deuce, but he is a serial overhelper. Yeah, we talked about that in the moment. I didn't have as huge of an issue with it. Benjy did have a big issue with it, and I think he was correct too, as you did. I think it was also just Josh Hart was like going for the loose ball, and he was not. He was like, I'm going to go for the loose ball, and if I foul, I foul. I think that's what you're talking about because that's the only situation that I can think of. And yet, funny enough, on the next play, when or was it the earlier the one where the guy got the shot off, they didn't foul, and Josh Hart seemingly tried to and didn't. Yeah, Deuce does serially overhope, and he thinks he can make it back, and he's really talented and energetic and the whole thing. But no, man, it's like, look, you want to know another problem with the defense? Some of the quote unquote good defenders on this team are not always good defenders, or maybe not that they're not always good defenders, but they're not always helpful defenders, and sometimes they can be detrimental. Josh Hart, falling asleep occasionally on 3-point shooters. Deuce overhelping. We love Jaylen Brunson here. We love Jaylen Brunson's fight, his grit, his toughness, all of the buzzwords. He was not good tonight, and I'm being kind defensively. He had a bullseye on his back, on his front, on his ass, on his head. Yeah, anywhere you could put a bullseye, he had a bullseye on him tonight. So that was an issue, and I talked about Mitch. Mitch is just not Mitch yet. And then again, they're like OG. They need him. Thanks, Danny. Okay. On a different note, we're going to take a quick second to hear from our friends. You know what I haven't gotten yet? I don't think our friends from Yule, by the way, I should say the actual name of the company. I don't think I've pulled out a vanilla Yule. Hang on. Let's see if I can grab one. Their vanilla user. Okay. Let's get this bad boy out here. I'm taking my headphones off for this one. So, what do I have here? I have Yule, Huel, even though I pronounce it probably not the right way. And Yule is just your absolute, total, complete solution if you do not have time to have a proper meal. I mean, usually it's like in the morning. But as I tell you guys all the time, like for me, I actually do have time in the morning a lot of times. And my craziness starts like once I hit that like 11 a.m. hour, especially on days where I'm doing NBA Takedown, which we go live at noon on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Once I get to like even like 10:30, 11 o'clock, my day is like, it's completely on overdrive. Never have time to eat lunch properly, and on those days, and these Yule's ready to drink Black Edition are my absolute lifesaver because they're filling, as you could see, 400 calories, so it's like a good amount for you, but it's all good stuff. It's 35 grams of protein, it's 6 grams of fiber, it's 27 essential vitamins and minerals, no added sugar, so it's not the stuff you don't want, it's gluten-free. And then it's under $5 per one of these Black Editions, and they're delicious. I can tell you that unequivocally. They really are very good. And they also have the ready-to-drink daily greens cans, much lower in calories, 25 calories. Tastes better than a soda. But again, that gives you all your nutrients, your vitamins, your minerals, the whole thing. Only 1 gram of sugar in there. And it makes my life much easier. I am a absolute Yule convert, and I look forward to continuing to be one. If you want to take advantage of healthy eating made simple, you could do so by going into your local Target store, where they are nationwide. And you could also try either of these great products, the Black Edition or the Daily Greens, and get 15% off your first purchase if you're a new customer by using my exclusive code KFS. Just go to www.huel.com/KFS and then use the code and fill out the post-checkout survey to help support the show. There you go. Shout out to you. I needed that. I mean, I had a light dinner. I had salad for dinner. That was good today. Ron Tequila, what's going on? Oh, my goodness. Ron. It's November, Ron. It's November. We have not even carved the turkey yet. Ron says, disgusting. At least they won, but not a contender. Look, right now in the league, if we're keeping it a buck, in terms of how teams are playing right now, I mean, you could make the argument there's only one contender, and it's Oklahoma City. I would say that there's 3 based on how teams are playing. I would add Denver, and I would add Houston, although I can't even add Houston. I can't. There's 2 contenders in the league right now, you know? And guess what? The nice thing is, Ron, both of those teams play in the Western Conference, which means you don't have to go through both of them if you're going to win a championship. You probably will only have to go through one. And the playoffs are long, and guys get hurt and banged up, and crazy shit happens. And like, look, it's a long season. The version of the Knicks that you saw tonight, I can pretty confidently say, is not going to be the version of the team you see in April or May or hopefully June. And you know what gives me the greatest amount of confidence to say that? Because last year around this time, the Knicks looked like the most unstoppable freaking offense known to man. And then the further they went on, the more mortal they got. And then it was not good. So I think things are going to get better. I think things can get better. And I would not lose faith quite yet. Thanks, Ron. Matt G. What's going on, Matt? Every team has 3 or 4 guys who can break down a defense. We have 1.5. It's a major negative for the front office. Williams would be a nice backup point guard trade option. Well, first of all, every team doesn't have 3 or 4 guys who could break down a defense, because the Mavericks, for instance, have 0 guys who could break down a defense. You want to tell me D'Angelo Russell? That's fine. But he is very, very hit or miss, and the misses are very loud. And there's a reason why team after team, gives up on him, and he's also a defensive liability. Look, are the Knicks very reliant on Jaylen Brunson? Yes. At the same time, I know we like to live in the moment here in New York. This is the 3rd best offense in the league. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit here and poo-poo that statistic. They are averaging 119.7 points per 100 possessions. That is a full point ahead of the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are at 118.7. Now, is it on the level of the Rockets or the Nuggets? No, it isn't. Should they be first, arguably? Sure. But to sit here and say that they have this fatal flaw because they only have one guy in Jaylen Brunson, and I guess the 0.5 is Jordan Clarkson, who could break down the defense, I just don't see it that way. I think it's more that they probably do need a more traditional backup point guard, because for as much as all of these different guys between Clarkson and Bridges and Hart and Deuce and Cat Who am I forgetting? I'm probably forgetting someone. Even OG a little bit. Can do a little bit of like, all right, I'm going to initiate the possession. There are times where you feel like they need that stable, steady hand that, frankly, Tyler Kolek was supposed to be. It is what it is. The only other thing I will say, they have the third best offense in the league, and they are 16th in effective field goal percentage. So this team, for the talent on the team, has not hit shots yet. And they're still the third best offense. So I think, look, I'm not saying it's not an issue. I don't think it's the level of issue, because I think when things are humming and when things are clicking, having Brunson out there with all of these other skilled players, as we've seen this year, not long ago, it looks really good. And guess what? It would have looked great tonight if they had just hit their freaking threes and made their free throws. So, yeah, I'm not a big issue. Do they probably need to make a move? They might. Thanks, Matt. Robert Cross. What's going on, Robert? First time, long time. It's your boy, John. Too late of a start for me. Have a good night. Hashtag 53 wins. I took my nap early today. I took a 45-minute nap. What time? At 4. At 4:05. I took a 40 good. It was a pretty good nap. Solid 45-minute nap. I was intending to take another nap before the game, but I couldn't fall asleep, and then I just ended up watching. What did I watch? I watched the Cavs game. I was watching some of the Nuggets game. I was bouncing around. I was watching caught at least parts of all the games that were on tonight. So, yeah, but it's too late, and I don't like it either. Thanks, Robert. Stevens Giame, what's going on, Stevens? Knicks don't play well in Texas. No, they don't. Everything about this game spelled trap game. Somehow we won, got our first road win. Yep, and very thankful for that. Escape and advance. That's all it is. But yeah, it had trap. When I realized it too, when I saw that Cooper Flag was going to miss the game, I was like, something about that. I was like, I smell something in the water. Not good. Thanks, Stevens. Fred Katz. What do you go to bed? Jonathan, don't they know those throws are free? That was worth $2.17 of your hard-earned money that the Athletic pays you. It's decisions like this that relegate Fred Katz into whatever realm he is in. You should have sent the text that you sent me as your super chat. Maybe you still will. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you, Fred. Have a good flight. OG team, what's going on, OG? Another game where Diawara came in for 1 second, made an impact defensively. Well, he came in for like 2 minutes. The Knicks could use his size and effort on the floor with OG out. I mean, look, Brown is clearly test driving him. Like, what is this if not Brown test driving Diawara to see what he could do? And again, it is a staggering admission of defeat. I don't know how else to put it. That neither Kolek or Diawara, or excuse me, that neither Kolek nor I forgot this fucking name, Dadier, can sniff the court. And Diawara, who is supposed to be this just utterly raw prospect, is getting out there and playing minutes in a real game. But I'm happy for him, and I want to see more of him. I'm like you. Thanks, OG. Adam Austin, what's going on, Austin? Was it gritty? I don't know. Did it make me a little ill watching 16 miss free throws? More than a week-old burrito. But it's another win in the column. On to the next. I don't know that I've ever eaten a week-old burrito. I don't think I would eat a week-old burrito. I would probably like 3-4 days. That's probably my limit. Was it gritty? Was this a gritty win? Was this a gritty win? You know what? Hold on. It was a gritty win. And you know why it was a gritty win? I'll tell you why it was a gritty win. Benjy Ritholtz said, as the fourth quarter started, that, okay, you had a rough defensive quarter. Go out there and hold this team to 25 points in the fourth quarter. And we looked up at the scoreboard, and there were 4 minutes and change left in the fourth. And if I'm not mistaken, the Mavs at that point had, hold on. Yeah, because they were stuck on this for a while. Hold on. I'm gonna get the precise. Yeah, there we go. They had 21. Najee Marshall made a 2-point shot with 4 minutes and 39 seconds remaining. It put the Mavs up 3, 106 to 103. And they had 21 points in the quarter at that point. And I said to Benjy, I was like, what do you think? They're going to hold them to 25? And Benjy was like, no chance. And they held them to 26. They held the Mavs to only 5 points over the remaining almost 5 minutes of the game. And they outscored them over that time 10-5. Was it pretty? No. Was it gritty? Yeah, I'd say it was gritty. You know, not the grit, not a capital G gritty, lowercase g. Thanks, Adam. Brian Letts, what's going on, Brian? That Land Sanity E60 doc is going to hit like a speedball. Never had a speedball. Always been curious to try one. Hey, listen, man. He's having a great season. They need him. Here, let me pull up his numbers here. If I could get him real quick. I mean, he's just playing out of it. But here's the thing. I caught myself. I was about to say he's playing out of his mind. He's really not playing out of his mind. He's like just putting a game like everything he's doing. He's always been capable of doing all these things. I think he's just putting it together in a way that we maybe haven't seen before. So he's currently playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th, the 7th most minutes on the Knicks in terms of average minutes per game. He's averaging more minutes than Clarkson or Mitch or Gershon, obviously. So 22 minutes, he's averaging 10 points. He's shooting 45% from the field and 41.3% from three. The crazy thing, he's shooting great from the line. I don't think, had he missed a free throw before those last two? He's even after this game, he's shooting 84%. Actually, no, that's not true. Sorry, these stats have not updated yet. So he's going to be lower than 84%, but he's still probably around 80% from the line, which is good. Yeah, and like I feel like he might be, in terms of like effective field goal percentage, it's probably second to Mikal if I had to guess. Not counting Mitch. Going into tonight, he was slightly above Mikal Bridges. 60.2 effective field goal percentage to 59.9 for Mikal Bridges. Crazy. Somebody would have told you a month ago the most efficient rotation Nick would be Landry Shamet. And that's where we are. Thanks, Brian. A fire in the hole. First time, long time. The Shamurai. That's it. Let's go Knicks. That's great. I like the Shamurai. The Shamurai was suggested as a possible nickname, I think, during his 36-point game. I like it. I like the Shamurai. The Last Shamurai. I know that movie's, not that movie's been like canceled, but that, probably not a movie that would be made today, but I like The Last Samurai. So sure. Shamurai. Good by me. Robert Cross with another one. Apparently he didn't go to sleep. First time, long time at your boy John. I am tired of Tibbs not playing the kids more. Man, how many minutes have they played in total this year? Let me see how close I could guess. I'm going to guess that Huck Porty has played 31 minutes. Dottier, I think, has played like 4 garbage time minutes or 5 garbage time minutes, whatever it is. And Kolek, how many minutes has Kolek played this year? I'll say 28. Let's see how close I got. Let's see. Probably way off. Huckporty, 56. Kolek, 67. Wow, I was way off. Okay. Man, not the most memorable minutes I get. Kolek, this shooting, 10 of 24, 42%, 3 of 13 from 3. The three-point shooting, like, he was supposed to be a shooter, and he hasn't shot it. That's like it's not great. Pacome Dadier has played 14 minutes this year. Those were definitely all in garbage time. Thanks, Robert. Danishevsky with another one. Odd that Dallas has been a horror show since Jaylen Brunson arrived. Game that almost got Tibbs fired. Luka game, one game that they lost with JB in January 24, and then tonight with the free throw misses. Yeah, it has been hard. I mean, the game I'll never, as long as I live, I'll never forget the game that almost got Tibbs fired. Never in my life. That night, did that post game for my in-laws. I said it's probably time for a change. Here's an interesting alternate universe. What would have happened if they would have fired Tibbs after that game? Or after, like, the Cavs game or something? If they lost the Cavs game. That crazy Cavs game where there was a million turnovers. It's an interesting alternate universe to think about. Thanks, Kev. Hush Zoo with another one. A pet peeve I have with NBA coaches is they don't leave the hot hand in. I get you got to go through rotations, but JB was scorching in the third. Leave him in for a little longer. Lost the lead when he sat. Yeah, we pointed it out at the time. It's valid. Why does he do it? He does it because he wants JB to play longer in the fourth quarter. But at the same time, if you want to get on the coach for not having maybe as much feel for that particular game as he should have had, because was there a world where you leave Brunson in and then Brunson, they build up a big enough lead, maybe they get up by 12 or 14 or 16 and the Mavs kind of go quietly into the good night. The flip side of that coin is maybe Brunson kind of blew his wad and he didn't have anything left in the tank, and you keep him in and the gap closes, and then you can't bring Brunson in as early as you had planned because he needs to rest more. There's always a flip side, but I don't know. To each their own. Thanks, Hush. And I don't know if this is the last one. It might be the last one. Sam Garcia's dad. Shamet's the guy Bridges was talking about last season when he told Tibbs there were guys who should get more minutes. He was right. Sam Garcia's dad, Ray. I will say it again. I'm not to say that Shamet, or not to say that Bridges was lying when he said that, or that he didn't think there were guys on the bench who should get more time. I do not think Bridges said any of what he said that day because he actually cared about minutes. I think he said what he said because he knew what would happen when he said it. And you know what? It had the exact effect that was intended. And the ultimate outcome is probably something that I'm going to just go out on a limb here and guess that Mikal Bridges is not terribly upset with that ultimate outcome. But hey, he's playing great. I'm happy he's playing great. They gave up a shit ton to get him, and he's playing like the guy that they gave up a shit ton to get. And Landry Shamet is playing much better than a guy that they didn't give up anything to get because they got him off the scrap heap. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Last summer, last winter, and then again this past summer. Thank goodness for him. Was it a great win? No. Wasn't even a good win, but it was a win. And sometimes that's all you need. So we move to Saturday night when the Knicks play the Orlando Magic. Rematch. Big rematch. I'll be on the post game. Looking forward to that. Kev, hold on. I should probably put on my headphones because I don't hear anything Kev's saying. Kev, we good? We're good.
We great.
We great. I love it. That's great. Kev on the ones and twos. Shout out to Kev. Kev, you're killing it. All right. It's what time is it? It's almost 2 a.m. Shout out to the 1,500 people somewhere in the world who are watching right now. You guys are awesome. We will, be back on Saturday. X's and O's coming tomorrow. I'm actually going to join DJ Zulo for that X's and O's, in which we will get into a lot of the stuff that we kind of talked about tonight, but we'll get DJ's thoughts on it, which will be great. Thanks for watching. Follow Knicks Film School on all your social channels at Knicks Film School, SKOOL. What else? Subscribe to the pod. Subscribe to YouTube. Turn on notifications on YouTube. Bonus I keep forgetting to shout this out. So tonight, again, 20% of all the super chats we're going to donate to the Turkey Drive, Thanksgiving Drive, being run by Mets Fix, my guy, my good friend Jeffrey Ballone. And then for anybody still listening who has maybe thought about ever becoming a patron of Knicks Film School, where we offer wonderful, amazing, incredible bonus content, the best in the biz, DJ and Benji doing what they do. Any annual subscriptions we get to the KFS Patreon this week, we are giving 20% of that, whatever that the cost of the annual subscription is, we're going to donate it to, again, the Turkey Drive that is being run over at Mets Fix. If you want to donate it to yourself, you can just Google Mets Fix Thanksgiving Drive. It'll pop right up. Okay. I think I said everything I need to say. Thanks, everybody, and we will talk to you soon. Peace out.
Must be 21 or over? Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See Fanatics Sportsbook app.